Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sohum Reactions. Today's request comes from Russell, who would like to send us further into the Johnny Mathis rabbit hole. We've got 3 more of his songs to check out today, and I, for one, am very curious to hear what kind of sound he opts for this time around, whether he chooses something more of a ballad for these songs, or if it comes out more jazzy and more crooner, somewhere in the middle. Really the whole world is possible when it comes to Johnny because he is such a great vocalist. He sounds so professional and polished, and usually all of his surrounding instrumentation is doing exactly what it needs to, especially in the piano. So I'm just very curious to hear what he decides to do today, and I believe of these 3 tracks, the second song, Chances Are, is one of his most well-known, so very curious to hear why that one gets special acclaim. But once again, thank you to Russell for the request today. Russell, I hope your pillow is very cool tonight and you sleep soundly. Now, my friends, let's jump into it.
Though we try to be masters of our souls and captains of our fate,
Whoa.
it's the lucky ones who achieve their goals while others have to wait.
Johnny's voice sounds awesome. He's so clear. And then below him, there is an entire world emerging from the piano. What the heck?
It's the lucky ones who achieve their goals while others have to wait.
Wow, that is ambiguous.
Our destiny is mostly bought and paid for us.
Wow.
The really big decisions are made for us.
What? Is that vibrato? That almost sounds like he's doing like a overt pulsing, like a ha 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 versus a normal vibrato.
The really big decisions are made for us.
What? Is that vibrato or is it him pulsing? I don't know.
So it's not for me to say.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
Not for me to say. You'll always care. Oh, but here for the moment I can hold you fast.
My intuition tells me it's his vibrato, it's what it naturally sounds like, and his natural vibrato to me almost feels so perfectly controlled that it feels like vocal pulsing, yet he's not doing that. That's such a unique quality.
And press your lips to mine and dream that love will last.
Wow.
As far as I can see, this is heaven. Speaking just for me, it's ours to share. Perhaps the glow of love will grow with every passing day. Oh, we may never meet again.
Dude, the harp and everything else is so enchanting. By the way, his voice and the piano, 1A, 1B, that's what it's been so far, just so rich in those 2 components alone. I feel like the strings are the bonus.
And speaking just for me. It's ours to share.
I feel like I want to cry, dude. This is...
Perhaps the glow of love will grow with every passing day.
There's voice cracking there.
Or we may never be.
Tell me why I'm reminded of Mark Lanigan right now.
But then it's not for me to say.
I have chills, dude, all over. Is that all? Oh man, I wish there was more there. The way that Johnny is able to manipulate his vowels and create such a wide sound is really impressive to me. It's one of those things that I think doesn't get spoken about enough when it comes to great vocalists, is not only their ability to be dynamic in terms of their range and hitting low and high notes, doing a lot of things with their styling. We talk all about that on the channel. The width of his voice, it's as though if he sings a pitch, it doesn't just exist in this like Y plane. It also has, let's call it support to it. There is like a built-in scaffolding that's happening with his voice that creates such a complete feel. Even if there were no accompanying instruments, remove the piano, remove the strings, remove the harp, and whatever else came into this arrangement, if it was just Johnny's voice, I feel like it would be enough. And what's unique about Johnny's voice is even though he is singing to pitch, part of my brain is not computing the pitch for what it is and treating it more so as though he is having, like talk about this a lot too, like having a musical conversation with us rather than strictly singing at us and trying to, seduce the audience with his tonality. It almost feels like instead of opting for that style, he is just being himself, and all of the instrumentation is kind of carrying the weight of the melody. Even though he's singing to melody, I feel like more of his voice and what it contributes to in this mix is the sort of finesse, is that polished feel. That's kind of the best description I have for Johnny's voice in this moment. Because I feel like he didn't go for as much crooner here, where he may opt for vocal fry and make his transitions from notes even more gradual and finding microtones along the way. I think for all intents and purposes, this is almost one of the most straight up sung songs I've heard from Johnny Mathis. All of the interesting melodic stuff, in my opinion, is coming from the piano. So I feel like the balance in this song was not one I was expecting, but actually worked out really well. Like I say, 1A, 1B when it comes to Johnny and the piano there. But interestingly, they are both accounting for different aspects of this song, and not the ones that I would expect at the outset. So this was a wonderful surprise, a beautiful song, had me emotional for sure towards the end. Let's see where we go from here. The next song is Chances Are.
Chances are, all I wear is silly grin the moment you come into view. Chances are you think that I'm in love with you.
I'm pretty sure that's just his vibrato. He's not doing a pulsing.
Just because my composure sort of slips.
Is that viola I'm hearing? It's a bit earthier than the violin.
Chances are you think my heart your Valentine. magic of moonlight. When I sigh, hold me closely.
Oh, I love this melody. It's so careful. It's like hovering between bright and dark. It's right there.
Yes, you feel you'll always be the one and only one for me. And if you think you could,
wow, dude.
well, chances are your chances are awfully good. Chances are you believe the stars.
I need like, wow, I feel heavy inside my body right now. I feel like there's like pressure behind my eyes, like I'm about to fully start bawling, and I don't know why. The melody is like, I don't know. I want to say like Johnny Mathis may be the master of subtle melody. Something about this melody, it is not obvious to me what the movements are. Like, you know, imagine like your typical like arpeggio, 1 3 5 8 5 3 1. In a scale, you're kind of naturally going to predict those landing places, and great musicians are going to be able to subvert your expectations in real time and give you something that's even better maybe than your typical scale degrees. Nothing wrong with what's, let's say, normative, but I feel like what Johnny is doing here is he's finding a way to make each little movement incremental and super subtle, so you don't necessarily know where he's going to take it, but each movement that he tiptoes or moves laterally feels like all of the emotion is being brought with it. Because if you can imagine, like when you go from like a C2 to a C3, that's a doubling of the frequency, and in our brains and our bodies, we register that difference in pitch differently, of course. And there may be a more of a frenetic quote-unquote energy to a C3 versus a C2. But the difference in interval between like a C2 and a D2, for example, it is far more subtle, and depending on how the chords around him are populating the arrangement, you may not even feel like a large movement has really happened. So it's one of those weird feelings I have where like the world is shifting within me and I'm having trouble tracking how that shift is happening. And my emotional response isn't one of sadness or like tears of joy. It's one of like, oh man, I don't know what's happening within me right now. And I feel like I'm almost like free floating. I'm no longer grounded in myself. And it can be equal parts scary when you don't know what you're feeling inside, and also exciting because that's a new part of yourself you're getting to discover through the medium of music. So that's all a long-winded way to say I don't fully understand this melody, but I really love the way that it's making me feel, even though I don't know how exactly I'm feeling right now.
Chances are you believe the stars that fill the skies are in my eyes. Yes, you feel you'll always be.
It's like I can't even tell if he's climbing in melody or falling. Or in pitch, I mean.
Chances are your chances are awfully good. The chances are your chances.
His laryngeal control is everything. I think I understand a little bit of what he's doing that makes it ambiguous. Okay. Yeah, I think there's a style that I don't have the name for, but I'll do my best to describe it. But essentially, if we use the examples previously of the C2 note and C3 note, just to paint a very obvious example, there is a way for me as an individual to sing C3 using a larynx position that almost makes C3 feel like C2. And on the flip side, if I sing C2 with a far more prominent, heightened, let's say pointed delivery, I can make C2 feel more like C3. So technically, it's possible to rise in pitch, but feel like because of your laryngeal position, your larynx, you can actually feel like you're going counter to the pitch. So normally when you think of like increasing pitch, you think, okay, you're getting higher, brighter, louder even. But Johnny, on the occasion, will increase the pitch, the absolute pitch of his note, while decreasing his laryngeal position, creating this like, I don't know what you call it. It is again that version of a limbo space that I don't know where we're quite resolving. And not only is that like ambiguity showing up in his vocal melody and now his delivery here, but also in the chords that we're kind of tracing. I can't do the music theory off the top of my head, just like witnessing as I like witnessed the, I guess I'm like more listening, right? As I'm listening to the chords move, I can sense there's a movement. I can sense that we go up like with 2-3 steps and then down once again, and then we move again. I can notice those moment to moment shifts, no problem, but it's at the macro level that feels more choppy to me, you may say. Like imagine the stock market. Stocks just don't go straight up or straight down unless you're living in our current stock market, which is crazy. Usually there's some level of chop, and within that chop, you can't discern a pattern. A lot of it seems like noise that a lot of people would ignore, but in my opinion, that is actually what makes all of what I've heard from Johnny Mathis thus far so enjoyable, is that he owns this middle unassuming space. God, I feel like if I don't cry by the end of this one, something is wrong with me, because both of these songs had me at the verge for sure. But let's check out the final song of the day. This one is Wonderful, Wonderful.
Sometimes we walk hand in hand by the sea.
I'm not convinced this is a live performance. I think the audio is dubbed over.
You turn to me with a kiss in your eyes, and my heart feels a thrill beyond compare. Then your lips cling to mine. It's wonderful, wonderful, oh so wonderful, my love. Sometimes we stand on the top of a hill and we gaze at the earth and the sky. I turn to you and you melt in my arms. There we are, darling, only you and I. What a moment to share. It's wonderful, wonderful, oh so wonderful, my love.
I don't know what to feel, man, but I am feeling something.
Wondrous things, it's true, but they wouldn't have much meaning without you. Some quiet evening I sit by your side and we're lost in a world of our own. I feel the glow of your unspoken love. I'm aware of the treasure that I own. And I say to myself, it's wonderful, wonderful,
spiraling up is what I feel like in this song. I feel like I have tears of joy, sadness, but mainly confusion. I'm gonna need your help. Excuse me, 1 second. I'm gonna need your guys' help in the comments below, helping me like figure out what it is I'm feeling and going through as I experience these songs. Because it is not obvious at all. Like, I feel like the best description I may have of this final song, Wonderful, Wonderful, is that in its subtlety, it's slowly spiraling up. And if you imagine the idea of first a circle where you start at 0 degrees and then a full revolution brings you right back to where you were, identically so, a spiral is a bit different in that you also move vertically. So as you spiral, well, the circle below, yeah, it's still below you, but like imagine like a coil, like more simply, so that the X dimension isn't being considered here. We're just spiraling upwards. And so when you look below, you can see exactly the floor below you, and you know that you moved, but just by a little bit. And when you look above, it still feels like you're in that same place you were below. Does that make sense? Like, at my old like alma mater, my university, there was a building. It was, I don't know exactly how many stories, but I want to call it like 30 or 40 stories high. It looks like a massive waffle. It's a crazy looking building. And when you're in the stairwells, not the elevators, but the actual stairwells, and you look above, you feel like you're on the 20th floor. When you look below, you feel like you're on the 20th floor. But at any floor that you're on that's not the first or last, it feels like you're on the 20th floor. And maybe that's the best description I have of Johnny Mathis, is no matter how high I think we're going, we're still looking below, and there's still more to be had above. And what I can say is that there is a alignment through those floors, because when you look down, you know that you're in the same relative, call it like Z position, but your y-axis changes. I didn't properly label the axes up front, so I think I may be confusing you more than helping, but I hope the idea makes sense, because I feel like all of what I'm trying to get at with these specific details is just that Johnny Mathis is a master of subtlety, and because that isn't an obvious place for us as music listeners to go, it has me at the very least engaged. And here in this reaction, my emotions are all kinds of jumbled. And yeah, like I say, I need to know what you guys think about all of that. So please leave your comments in the comment section below. But I hope you at least enjoyed my reaction today. I think of the 3 songs, Chances Are was my favorite, and then I think the first track. But again, let me know what your thoughts are there. If you'd like to request more Johnny Mathis yourself on the channel, you can use the first link in the description box. You can scan the QR code on your screen. Either way will work, but I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.